For those of you doing something a little more interesting than a basic shape like this or a gradual one, I wanted to show you kind of a real quick example of how you can do that. So let's say I'm doing one that has negative space. I'm going to split into two. What you can do, and whether they come back together or not, the point is we do the same process. You're kind of breaking it down by coil, but what you want to make sure you note is that when you get, where's the split happening, right? So when I get to the fifth coil, I know I've got to start to split apart. And in this case, I'm also rejoining. So that's a good example of one that splits, same process. Just take note of where it splits, and then you know when you're building, okay, I got to start splitting now. The other one is people who are maybe doing something 8 inches wide rather than 8 inches tall. All I did here is I marked out 0 to 8, the same as before, but what I did is I made sure that I drew my width about that size. So now what I'm doing is I have a life-size plan. This is a life-size plan. And then what I can do from there is I can start to think about my coils. Now, if I do 16 coils, like I was doing before, my coils get really thin and small. So what I would kind of encourage you to do if you're doing a big one is realize that you have to do a lot more in less time. And so instead of thinking of it as 16 coils and 8 inches tall, all you're doing is making sure you got the 8-inch width. And then what I need to do is think about the top, the bottom, kind of find a halfway point, a quarter point, three-way point. And then what you can figure out with your ruler is if I'm doing 1/2 inch, I shouldn't have marked all that. I'll do it over here. If I do 1/2 inch coils, that's actually, my whole thing is not very many coils tall. They're just really long coils. So what that means is I've got my first coil here, my second coil here, my third, right? So this is my coil 1, 2, 3. I'm already at coil 4, right? When I'm about halfway up, and 5, 6, and I'm actually only doing 8 coils because it's all shorter. So it makes sense, right? This is half the height of my tall one. So I have to do all the outs and ins. So this becomes out, 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 but kind of up and out, right? Up and up. I have to do it all in less time. All right. And the challenge with this is making long enough coils that you can actually kind of wrap them all around. So those are 2 examples of a plan, a building plan for one that splits and for one that's maybe wider.